Do not become a slave to judgment. It's best to accept others' opinions with minimal sensitivity and not be swayed by them. Whether you feel joy or displeasure at others' words, both emotions are like being manipulated on the same string. Either way, you become a slave to others' judgments, those who lack something to be proud of. The cheapest and most popular form of pride in the world is patriotism. A person consumed by patriotism is clearly lacking something to be proud of. If you have your own merits, you would never indulge in something like patriotism, which is shared by millions. You cannot only meet the people you want. A person who can forever avoid someone with a particular personality is truly fortunate. But most people must learn to endure others and cultivate patience. So, getting angry at the actions of those you cannot change is like getting mad at a stone rolling into your path. Life's essence is wrestling with daily problems. Humans are beings of expectations and desires, a mass of countless wants. Living with these desires, humans only vividly feel their own wants and pains, unable to fully perceive anything else. Thus, overcoming desires or pains is difficult. Wrestling with daily challenges, barely getting by, and being consumed by worries. This is the essence of human life. Boasting is evidence of lack. For a boastful person, pride becomes their weakness. A truly exceptional person does not boast or flatter others. Instead, they quietly refine and maintain what they have. Only pain makes a person better. To become a better person, pain is necessary. If Shakespeare, Goethe, Plato, or Kant had been content with reality, living happily with all their wishes fulfilled, could they have written poetry, created philosophy, or critiqued reason? Through dissatisfaction, we can discover our own philosophy. As Goethe said, only pain leads humans to a higher state. Vanity fuels pointless consumption. Most of our despair and worries stem from being overly conscious of others' words. At the root of fragile, hypersensitive pride lies vanity and bravado. At the base of boasting is an attitude of caring about others' views. If we didn't care about others' gazes, pointless consumption might be reduced to a tenth. Pride and the desire for honor, though different in kind, arise from being conscious of others. How great a sacrifice do we pay by being swayed by others' gazes? Why you must live in the present? Humans must live only in the present. Fleeing to the past only brings you closer to death, slowly dying bit by bit. Because the past, unrelated to the present or your will, is already finished, extinct, gone. Focus on the process. Only the essence within you holds absolute value. The worth and happiness of great heroes or scholars reside only in their true selves. Thus, what we must cherish is not fame itself, but the process of attaining it. That process is the substance, while fame is merely a property of things. Memories are beautiful because they no longer exist. Memories are like a lens in a dark room, gathering everything and creating an image more beautiful than reality. Memories feel so beautiful because they no longer exist. Do not stay among foolish people. If a person with true insight exists among foolish people, they are like a single clock ticking correctly in a city where all the clock towers are broken. Their clock alone shows the right time. But what use is that? Even those who know their clock is correct live according to the wrong ones, as does the whole world. Making enemies is like setting your own house on fire. Courtesy is the tacit agreement to overlook or not expose each other's moral or intellectual shortcomings. Thus, a courteous attitude is wise, and disregarding it is foolish. Acting rudely and needlessly making enemies is as mad as setting your own house on fire. Because courtesy is like counterfeit currency for transactions. Hoarding it is proof of folly, while using it appropriately is sensible. The pettiness of bravado. Bravado always invites contempt. First, it's cowardly. because it's rooted in fear. Second, it's tantamount to pronouncing yourself guilty, as trying to appear better than you are. Denies your true self. Thus, pride is merely a confession of having nothing to boast about. There's no loss in being courteous. Being courteous is like wearing a smiling mask. Even if the mask is slightly crooked or briefly removed, the other person won't shout about it. You may face the worst kind of person. In such cases, think, well, such a strange person can exist. If you don't take this attitude, you're committing an injustice and picking a fight with others. Because a person's inherent individuality, their moral character, cognitive abilities, temperament, and impression cannot be changed. People are drawn to what's similar. Everyone can only understand and judge what's akin to themselves. To the ordinary things. To the vulgar things. To the chaotic, confused things. To the dull, meaningless things. These are what feel familiar. And everyone loves most what's completely like themselves. Those who kill time, those who use it. Ordinary people think only of how to kill time, while talented people strive to use it. An intellectual life saves humans. An intellectual life not only prevents boredom, but saves humans from its harm. It acts as a fence, keeping you from bad relationships, misfortune, harm, and waste. What insightful people achieve. Those with exceptional mental strength devote themselves to an intellectual life, like creating a work of art. Through constant insight and thought, they consistently grow, achieving a complete and whole life. In contrast, ordinary people value only personal happiness, living with impoverished inner lives. For them, personal happiness is the goal, while for those living intellectually, it's merely a means. Remember when your health was poor. With health, everything is joyful. But without health, everything is unhappy. Moreover, other subjective assets, mind, emotions, temperament, weaken and shrink without health. A life without satisfaction. Suppose there is a person driven by intense will. They greedily desire to possess everything, to satisfy their selfish cravings. But naturally, they're merely a puppet, swayed by desire, and even if they gain something, they cannot fully quell the impulse of will. Even if some desires are fulfilled, the form of desire merely changes, and they're soon tormented by new ones. Even if desire vanishes, the impulse of will persists tenaciously, leaving unrelievable pain and a terrifyingly desolate heart. Results matter more than judgment. Fame is merely secondary. The cause of admiration is worth more than admiration itself. What truly makes a person happy is not fame, but what earned it, the achievement itself. More precisely, it lies in the mindset or ability that produced that achievement. Why your desires must be clear. Vague goals inevitably lead to boredom. You only value something when you lack it. We are always in want and pain, rarely feeling satisfaction. We feel brief satisfaction only when pain or lack momentarily disappears, but it doesn't last long. Thus, we don't cherish or value what we already have, taking it for granted. What we possess doesn't play a big role in preventing pain. But when these things are gone, we keenly feel their value. Because lack, deficiency, and suffering actively reveal themselves. So, recalling past hardships, illnesses, or financial struggles helps you cherish and not forget the meaning of what you already have. When desires are fulfilled, you chase only pleasure. Poverty causes pain, and wealth brings boredom and ennui, making pleasure appealing. This is why Sundays are boring, and the other 6 days are painful. Self-objectification is more important. Don't worry about how you appear to others. Evaluate your own worth coldly. That will help you far more in becoming happy. Anyway, others aren't interested in you. Most people care about nothing, but themselves. Thus, whatever others say, they think of themselves first. If something even slightly concerns them, they lose the ability to judge the topic objectively, completely absorbed by it. They dismiss anything that doesn't benefit them or isn't something to boast about as wrong. If you don't know true happiness, you obsess over money. Those incapable of enjoying happiness devote their hearts entirely to money. Courtesy turns hostility into goodwill. In its natural state, hard wax becomes pliable with a little heat, moldable as desired. Likewise, showing a bit of courtesy and friendliness can turn a stubborn, hostile person into someone gentle and kind. Thus, courtesy has the same effect on humans as heat does on wax. Relationships change when circumstances do. If circumstances change, don't expect others to act as they did before. People adjust their thoughts and attitudes to what benefits them. What's invisible is more precious than what's visible. It's foolish to focus on appearances and lose what's precious within. Sacrificing your peace, leisure, or independence, entirely or mostly, for looks, wealth, honor, or recognition is a foolish act. 3 conditions for philosophy. To engage in philosophy, 3 things are required. First, have the courage to seek answers whenever a question arises. Next, reconsider what's taken for granted, asking, is that really so? Finally, avoid anxious or restless feelings. To philosophize, don't become blind or fall into temptation. Focus on the world as it appears to your eyes and the contents of your consciousness. Endless desire creates endless pain. In life, only pain and death are certain. To escape this painful world, you must deny the will. Because the blind desire to live forever cannot be fulfilled, pain is inevitable. In Buddhism, denying the will to live is called nirvana, the core of all human understanding, inexplicable in words. As one thing recedes, another approaches. The 2 obstacles to happiness are pain and boredom. As one recedes, the other approaches. Thus, our lives are little more than oscillating between these 2, with only a difference in degree. The importance of a cheerful mind. A cheerful mind has the most direct impact on happiness. A cheerful person always finds reasons to be positive within, making themselves happy through their own nature. To maintain a cheerful mind, you must strive to stay healthy. Don't depend on others. The happiest person is one whose inner richness allows them to stand without external help, because relying on others always comes with a price or bondage. The cause of quarrels repeats. To reconcile with a friend you fought and parted with, you'll end up paying a price. That friend will repeat the exact behavior that caused the quarrel whenever they get the chance. Moreover, believing they're indispensable to you, they may act even worse. Act according to your nature. Don't take others' actions as a model for your own. Because your appearance, circumstances, environment, and personality differ from others. Think deeply, ponder persistently, and act according to your nature. Otherwise, your actions won't align with your essence. Excellence is hard to recognize in a foolish world. Authority and wealth are always objects of respect, but intellectual excellence is not. Foolish people merely ignore excellence that pierces their souls. Thus, intellectual excellence is often seen as rudeness or something not to be boasted about. When you meet the worst kind of person, to navigate the world, be cautious in your actions and maintain generosity. Carefulness prevents loss and harm, and tolerance avoids disputes or fights. Since we live among many people, no matter how pathetic or ridiculous others seem, we must not rashly criticize them. Instead, accept their individuality as something unique